It's time for Recipe of the Day. Happy Friday, we made it. And today is also Groundhog Day, which I know has that whole tradition of groundhog, did it see its shadow thing. But what I think of is the movie and about like redoing something over and over again. And so I thought it'd be fun to talk about a recipe that is kind of like a redo or a way of making something you've probably had before done in a different way that is way easier. And that is jalapeno poppers turned into a dip. So this is jalapeno popper dip. And I also thought you might appreciate hearing about this dip now because you might have something fun going on this weekend and you might need a dip for it. But more importantly, big game days are ahead. And if you need to take something to that party or if you're having people over, this is a great one. It can be made ahead, all except for baking. And then you just heat it up right before serving it. So super easy that way. It's also just really, really delicious because everybody loves jalapeno poppers and everybody loves dips, and this is one thing that does both, right? So you are going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit if you're baking it right away. If you're baking it later, do not do that. Then you're going to get a package of cream cheese, 8 ounces, softened to room temperature. If it is not softened, if you're just starting this right away, fridge cold, then you can put that cream cheese into the microwave in a microwave safe bowl. You have to remove all the foil packaging and everything, of course. So put the cream cheese, remove the packaging, into a microwave safe bowl, and you're going to use the defrost function on your microwave or set your microwave to 50% power level, and then you're just going like 10 seconds at a time. After 10 seconds, kind of cut it up a little bit into little pieces, do another 10 seconds on defrost or at 50% power, cut it up a bit more, and just keep doing that until when you go to cut into it, it's kind of softened. Some of it might melt around the edges. That is okay. We're not baking or anything here. We don't need the chemistry of the cream cheese to be super, super solid. We just need it soft enough that we can mix it with other things, right? Okay, so once your cream cheese is softened, whether because you left it out for a little while or you did the microwave trick, you're going to put that cream cheese into a big bowl and add a cup of sour cream. And then the recipe says to use an electric mixer, like a handheld mixer, to blend that until it's well combined. That is the easiest thing to do. You can do it with just your hand, but it takes a little while. You know, cream cheese is just a little stiff even when it's softened. Okay, once the cream cheese and the sour cream are well blended together, you're going to stir in 1 cup of shredded Mexican blend cheese and 1 cup of shredded pepper jack cheese. You can, of course, do different cheeses if that's what you have. Just you want things that are going to melt and have good flavor, right? So mozzarella is going to be good, like the kind you'd put on pizza, shredded mozzarella. The shredded cheddar is going to work. Colby Jack's going to work. Anything like that. You're also adding 3 fresh jalapenos that you have diced. The recipe says diced. What I really want is you want pieces that are not minced. You want them kind of like 1/4 of an inch squares. And that's because when you bite into them, you get that sensation in your mouth of when you bite into a jalapeno popper and you're actually biting through that fresh jalapeno. You know what I mean? So you want to kind of chop them, but into bigger pieces. You're not mincing those. And that was 3 jalapenos. It is up to you whether you take the seeds out or not. The seeds have a lot of heat in them. So if you want this a little milder, take them out. If you want it to be spicier, you can seed them into the cheese mixture and then chop them, or leave the seeds right in there as you chop them. Either way. Then you are also getting a 4-ounce can of green chilies, and you are chopping those up and adding them too. So here now we're getting that same like spicy pepper flavor throughout the dip from the canned chilies, where we also have those bigger pieces of the fresh jalapeno kind of a little bit here and there throughout for that real jalapeno bite. You're also going to go in with 8 slices of cooked bacon that you've chopped up. I like to reserve a little bit of this for garnish on top later. So like 7.5 of the slices of cooked bacon chopped up, and you add that to your cheese mixture along with a 1/4 cup of chopped fresh cilantro leaves. You can have a little bit left over for garnish of that as well, and a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of of black pepper. Mix that all together. Then you transfer that to a baking dish. It can be an 8x8 or a 10x6 or like an 8-inch cast iron skillet. Any of those is going to work. And you top that with another half cup of the Mexican blend cheese and half cup of the pepper jack cheese. And then sprinkle that little bit of bacon that you reserved over top of that. And then that is going into a 350 degree Fahrenheit oven until bubbly and golden brown, about 15 to 20 minutes. Put a little bit more cilantro on top and then serve with tortilla chips. Now, just back up for a second. If you were making this ahead, you would transfer it to the baking dish, add the cheese and bacon on top, and then cover with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge until you're ready to bake it. When you're ready to bake it, either take it out for half an hour before you put it into the oven so that it comes up to room temperature a little bit, or just know that it's going to have to go into the oven for a little bit longer because it was so cold from the fridge. So it's going to be more like 20 to 25 minutes instead of 15 to 20. I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there, or find it in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/recipeotd. And hey, just a quick note. I'm on a recording hiatus right now, so for the next little while, I'm replaying episodes from the archives, including this one. If you heard me mention a holiday, a season, or something going on in my life that seemed a bit off, that's why. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you're enjoying these older episodes. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, cookfor2.us, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.